Hello, good afternoon. My name is Tony Shan, and this talk is about the database as a service. Actually talked earlier about the framework we built, how you can implement the database as a service. So I'm going to quickly go over. Basically, this talk has two parts. The first one is about how do we establish a framework which you can systematically assess the opportunity, suitability, and also create a strategy to enable database service in your environment. This is the second part, how do we implement database service. So I will share with you some of the learnings as well as a case study to talk about in the real life, how do you look at different database options, how do you choose the best one that fits your need. So I'm going to quickly go through this one, which I talked earlier. And then we come to this framework. Literally, you can see this is step-by-step approach to deal with database service in terms of challenges, opportunities. Then you set up a strategy to how I can implement this. How do I use this in my environment? And the second stage in this flow, you can see it's enablement. We talk about the reference architecture, use cases. How do you select the different technology options? How do you bake off? How do you do trade-offs? And proof of concept. So this is the part we're going to talk about, spend the next about 10 minutes to talk about enablement. So if we look at the database service in terms of guiding principles, we talk about the basic requirements of database as a service in part one, basically business requirements, technology requirements. Now here we look at the requirements, say, okay, what kind of guiding principles should we follow in order to design a solid solution, meet the needs, and also satisfy the customers. So there's a business alignment. How do you assess the value? How do you standardize the infrastructure to provide a very flexible database service? And also the architecture, how do we make it open? How do you publish service? Whatever database you have, whether it's MongoDB or PostgreSQL. So these are the principles we use when we help clients to assess and also to operationalize database as a service. And we'll come up with a reference architecture because you need a reference architecture to describe what kind of components, what are the building blocks in the database service. So I'm going to go through real quick. On top one, you can see we look at the end-to-end life cycle of database as service. You can see we have the service strategy on the top. Then based on the needs, requirements, you design your service, database services, and then you transit the service from the prototyping or some kind of the POC into a real-time, full-blown implementation. The next one is the operational things. How do you support this? How do you create database instances as the user needs? How do you let them resize it? How do you add a permission for them to do different types of things? And the last three is the enhancement. Whatever service you put in the first round, then you can get the feedbacks, add more features, improve the quality, all different type of things. The next layer you can see we separate the two parts. One is called the subscribe interface because this is purely service. So we run databases, whatever you like, Oracle or SQL Server or MySQL, anything. And it's subscription-based, so you can subscribe what you need. You can provide some estimation, and we'll assign this one. So this is a very useful interface for you to look at the catalog, find the service that fits your needs, and then place the order. The second part is from management perspective. There are a lot of things the admin needs to do to secure the stuff, to create an account for you. So there's a very good unified interface for system admin, for DevOps to use that one. Now go down to the third layer. We provide a set of services to actually provide the backbone to this database as service. So you can see from subscriber perspective, we have a set of services to add account, subscribe, they can meter this, they can invoicing, all the stuff. Service management, depending on what kind of service we have, I will briefly talk about different services that are available. Then you can manage different services you need. From deployment perspective, this really cut the literally the steps that typically in different environments you need to spend days, weeks to actually procure a particular database. But here it's literally minutes. And there are a lot of DevOps things over here. And lastly is the development of service, because you need a team to build this out and roll this out and provide the service to the customers. And down here on the first layer, these are the different database instances we support. I will talk about different database engine. And the bottom is literally the storage, the networking, the building blocks that really support the database instances. So next we're going to talk about the database service on OpenStack. As you look at the reference architecture, it's literally platform independent. We actually build this one on any platform, whether it's cloud, OpenStack, or some specific technology like Microsoft Azure. But in this conference, we talk about the OpenStack. So let's take a look at the OpenStack. What do we do? There's a package actually called Trove, which you can look at here, the diagram. You can see the OpenStack, which many different computing, cylinder, the storage, networking. Then on top of that, there's a package called Trove, which really facade, whatever the top, like MongoDB, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, and provide a unified interface to leverage whatever infrastructure you have deployed on OpenStack to provision this instance. So in this exercise, we leverage this Trove as the baseline. And Trove has quite a few new functions doing the provisioning, share the services, and the good thing is provide the REST API. So completely REST API driven, so you can launch it, you can invoke it in a very efficient way. Some of the components are listed here about the Trove. It's a fairly good package about the different guest agent management, task management, messaging, but things like that. And I put some stuff, in order for you to launch it. It has some steps which need some probably professional services to help you to install this, configure different nodes. Actually, they are controller nodes, computer nodes. But all these things are deployed on the OpenStack, different components. Then to use Trove, it provides a fairly good set of capabilities. Like, it can list what data store are available. Then you can see whether MongoDB is there, or MySQL is there, or Oracle is there. So you can choose what you need. And then you can create an instance. Say, okay, I like the MongoDB instance. Hey, create an instance. Give me this storage. I need 50 terabyte data. I need some disk capacity with whatever you need. I need some memory. So you can select different things. Then we'll list a different instance. Then you can create a backup. You have the instance, you need a backup, you can do that. And list different opportunities. Then over here, it supports some instance, but not all. So let's over here, predominantly it supports MySQL, MongoDB, Cassandra. And the things are still in the list to support as an instance. So depending on what you want to do in your situation or your current situation, you can select the right instance for that. And license-wise, I put some investigation on that because when you do database service, how do you manage license? Because traditionally license is per node or per user, how many users are using it. But here it's different because it's a cloud as service, you just use it. So there's some things that you need to worry about in terms of what kind of license. But good news is, if you use open source like I listed here, all these are open source. There's a little limitation because it's all open source things. You just need to follow whatever the GNU API or GPL, follow those licenses. It's very good. That's the freedom to use open source. And usage-wise or contribution-wise, several companies, HP is here. Tesora is a very good one, contributed a lot of things in the Trove development. And there's some involvement. It has been there for a while, but still you can look at the left side. Lots of things are still in the blueprint, under development, and in the roadmap. So you need to be careful. Look at what features are available and what will be released in the next quarter or so. And if there's something is missing, try to communicate. Check with the committer. I actually talked to the committer who wrote the Trove. He works for Rackspace. So just to check this stuff to see what fits you, what kind of features that will be coming, so you can leverage them when it's ready. So next I'm going to briefly talk about a case study. This is actually a very large bank based in US. What you do is they look at the OpenStack. They really like the concept, using OpenStack to standardize or unify the infrastructure. Because in the current situation, they have different databases, different silos, and data are all over the place, structured, unstructured, and you also want to incorporate some like social media data, which is very difficult. So you look at the different options like Merentis, Red Hat, those kind of options, and plus you want to see, okay, how do I unify these databases? So led effort to do some investigation to see how do we little harmonize and consolidate all these database engines and instances to do database as a service. Analyze, put some stuff in, assess the maturity of Trove, find the shortcomings, and also I mentioned like Tesora. They did a lot of stuff. I talked to them. They bring some add-on capabilities to supplement the open source capabilities. So we did the suitability analysis. Basically score this one to see how suitable it is for us. Then we'll look at different things like Trove with MySQL. Actually, this is probably the most mature pieces you can leverage. In terms of Trove like MongoDB with Trove, there are some gaps we identify. So I made some recommendations to the customer. This is our investigation. This is our findings. This is what we propose, what you need to do, and incrementally do some POC, assess the features, and the next step, then move forward. So that's a quick talk for this part. Thank you for that.